Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to the first day of Memorials Research Week. My name is Paula Mendonça. I'm Memorial's Director of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Before we start, I would like to recognize that we acknowledge that the lands on which Memorial University's campuses are situated are in the traditional territories of diverse indigenous groups, and we acknowledge with respect the diverse histories and cultures of the Beothuk, Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit of this province. Today is the first of 3 events that I'm hosting during Research Week. At the same time on Wednesday, if you are available, we are going to welcome Pira Moreira from Entrepreneurial for a presentation on the trends in its latest startup data report. And I'm hosting that event in partnership with MCE and Genesis. So you're going to see myself, Andrew, and Florian again on Wednesday, and I'm going to actually send you the link. If you are interested, you can register on the link that I just sent on the chat. And on Thursday, you will meet Dr. Don Henwood, a communications consultant and writing coach, for a session offering communication techniques to transform lab language into easy to understand ideas for broad audiences. And I'm also going to put that link here for you in case you are interested in that event. But today I'm here with 5 very special guests that are key in supporting the innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem at Memorial and the province. Since its founding, Memorial has played an integral role in the cultural, health, and socioeconomic development of Newfoundland and Labrador. And over the past 10 years, Memorial has been transforming itself to play an even more preeminent role in the economic and social development strategies of the province. The creation of the different groups that we'll be hearing today is a firm testament to the university's commitment to promoting the advancement of innovation and entrepreneurship. With no further ado, I'd like to introduce you to today's presenters. Kara Strickland from the Technology Transfer and Commercialization Office, or TTCO. Nicole Helwig from the Center for Social Enterprise, CSE, Alison Rowe from Navigate, Florian Villomé from Memorial Center for Entrepreneurship, MCE, and Andrew Goldsworthy with Genesis. Each presenter will introduce you to their group and services, and we'll have plenty of time in the end for questions. You can also write them in the Q&A or the chat box, and we can address them at the end of everyone presenting. Kara, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Paula. Slides up here. Hi, so I'm Kara Strickland with Memorial's Technology Transfer and Commercialization Office. The Tech Transfer and Commercialization Office supports faculty, students, and staff with the research and commercialization activities. So we help at the very beginning, at the ideation stage, to help move research ideas towards commercialization. So there are many different ways that the Tech Transfer Office supports in Memorial with the research and commercialization. First of all, we work with researchers from the onset to align their research with industry needs. So we help with finding new industry partners, traveling to meet with industry, and identifying different funding opportunities. Secondly, we provide support for spin-outs, so we can verify the ownership of intellectual property if the IP they've created is related to research at the university. We also have funding to align ideas with industry needs, and we also have funding to support, again, making connections. Thirdly, we assist with licensing intellectual property that's been assigned to the university. So we license IP to third parties, and then we manage the royalties, the collection of royalties, and the distribution of royalties to the creators. Finally, with intellectual property, we can protect, so patents, get an industrial design, or trademark work that has been created at the university or assigned to the university. We also provide education on intellectual property, and we also go through a disclosure review process, which I'll talk about in a little bit. It is important to note that Memorial is a member of Springboard Atlantic, which is a consortium of 19 different universities and colleges in Atlantic Canada that have a mandate to link companies with academic expertise. Through Springboard, we have access to a number of different funding supports. First of all, we have industry engagement funding. So these are funds for researchers to travel and meet with industry and also for Memorial researchers or groups to have industry engagement events where industry can come and see what our researchers have to offer. We also have proof of concept support, which provides support for developing early stage commercial prototypes from lab bench to a working prototype. We also have patent and legal support. So if research has been assigned to the university, we can access patent agents to evaluate, protect, and prepare commercially promising intellectual property assigned to the university. And finally, we provide marketing support. So this supports the validation of research outcomes to ensure that successful entry into the marketplace. So with all of these, we prefer that we find out about you and what you're doing at very early stage so that we can help you with making connections, et cetera. But in the case that you've already created something, then if you plan to commercialize, you can disclose to our office. And when I say disclose to our office, the invention disclosure process provides us with information about what you're doing so that we can help you with the next commercialization step. It is really, really important if you plan to commercialize and you have research that was created during your time at Memorial that disclosure process is followed. And during that process, we ask that you disclose any new process, research data, a new machine you've created, software or tools that you've created, to provide us with information about what that is so that we can help you move it forward. So first of all, we look at what the invention is, who the inventors are, so that we can be clear on who actually owns what's been created. Next, we looked at the funding sources so that we make sure that there are no restrictions so that you can go forward with commercializing and without having any problems with contracts that are in the background. In the case that there are restrictions, we can still help you figure out what that roadmap to commercialization is. So if you have intellectual property, there are so many different things that you can do with it. First of all, you can use it. So you can create your own company. You can manufacture and sell products. You can brand it. You can do all that on your own. Or if you want, at Memorial, we have so many different supports that can help you. Secondly, you can assign it. So you can transfer ownership or sell it, essentially to someone else who can then exploit the rights. Or thirdly, you can license it so that someone else can commercialize it. You would still retain ownership, but there's potential that you can receive royalties for what you've created. For all of these, there's so many different ways that our office can help you. So just to recap, our office helps with the commercialization of IP that's created at Memorial. We can assist with collaborations between Memorial researchers and industry. We provide education on intellectual property. We can help find funding opportunities for both researchers as well as for companies. Sometimes if we recognize that there's a company within MCE or within Genesis, we'll send opportunities their way if we're aware of what they're doing. We also evaluate invention disclosures, and we also have a very important process called the Research Participation Agreement process so that faculty, students, and staff are aware of what their rights are when they work on a project that is under a third-party contract at Memorial. Finally, we can provide support for spin-outs through the invention disclosure process and also connect you to all the other amazing resources that are going to talk later on in these presentations today. Thank you so much. If you wish to contact me, here's my information.
And I think next up is Nicole.
Thank you, Paula. So going backwards in the slides. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nicole Helwig, and I am the manager of the Center for Social Enterprise here at Memorial University. We are an interesting collaboration. We are a partnership of the Faculty of Business Administration, the School of Social Work, and our School of Music, something that I think reflects social enterprise in our province, looking at business as well as social justice and the cultural and creative enterprises. We do a lot of community engagement, so you see slides with both internal partners at Memorial and partners outside the university. And we have quite a broad mandate. We have a university-wide reach to nurture social entrepreneurs, strengthen social enterprise, and drive social innovation in Newfoundland and Labrador. Sometimes we say that we see social enterprise as a pathway to social innovation in the province, where we're seeing more and more social enterprise activity on the ground, and something of a movement to address many of the social challenges that are faced in our province today. Now, what I'm going to do now is just share with you a number of the different programs that we run through the center. Some of them are more deeply engaged in terms of entrepreneurship, and some are, I would say, some touch points where we might be able to spark some interest in our students in social enterprise and learning more about social enterprise. And often I categorize these as social enterprise discovery. One example is our work experience in social enterprise initiative. We work with community partners to co-create experiences in social enterprise environments for undergraduate and graduate students. We've had students from a variety of disciplines working in community, supporting social enterprises to continue their work. And also we have been innovating in trying to find ways where we can put or bring together small teams of students from different disciplines to work together on the same project within the same social enterprise. So, for example, we've had students from business, social work, and music together looking at how they can bring their independent skill sets and knowledge to a social enterprise, but then work together in a way that works across the disciplines. And this reflects our approach, where we feel that the social challenges we face cannot be addressed by one discipline alone, but we need that cross-disciplinary approach. So, as an example, we have placed students also in social enterprise startup environments, and I give the example of Read Our Lips, which is a social enterprise launched last year. It's an initiative of the Canadian Hard of Hearing Association, Newfoundland and Labrador, where they would normally deliver their one-to-one or their face-to-face, rather, training on lip reading, and now have developed an online delivery platform. This is enabling a nonprofit to generate revenue by training, but also gives them potential to go to scale in a way that was inconceivable previously. So our students have been in that environment and helped bring this initiative to life. A couple of them have actually stayed on to continue the work at this new enterprise. We also have a number of different student challenge events. These are essentially events to bring students together around interest in a particular social challenge, but also to spark some ideas. So we could consider them ideation events. One is a social startup weekend, where we bring students together, much like a typical startup weekend with mentors and pitches, but in a collaborative setting. Prizes are awarded. We have an interesting partner for the Social Innovation Challenge, which is the United Church of Canada, which has also been working on nurturing the social enterprise ecosystem across the country. One more social enterprise or one more student challenge event I'd like to mention is called Map the System. It is an initiative of the School Centre for Social Entrepreneurship at the University of Oxford. We've been participating since 2017 through Memorial University. We have this particular competition involves mapping a system, getting to understand the particular social issue, looking what solutions are there and being tried before launching into identifying your own solution. Students there who are successful in the Map the System are also able to apply for a program that's called Apprenticing with a Problem, where they're provided funding and opportunities to be closer on the ground working through some of those problems. I should mention as well that we are taking registration for the Map the System competition now. You can find details on Center for Social Enterprise social media, so Facebook and Twitter. And there's also a dedicated website for the Canadian edition of Map the System. So you can find information there. We hold a MUN level competition in the spring, generally towards the end of the winter semester. And then a MUN representative team from MUN goes to the Canadian edition. We're very pleased that last year our MUN team was successful at the Canadian edition and went on to represent us at Oxford. So one other way we engage with students and community is through our Social Enterprise Discovery Award. This is where we support students who have independent projects in social enterprise in rural parts of the province. And we see this as another way that students can be either supporting communities that are working on social enterprise, but also spark some ideas of their own that they might want to take forward and develop further as potential new social enterprises. Lastly, our latest venture or adventure is a new social venture incubator, which was launched earlier this month. This incubator seeks to support those who have a social mission that is embedded in their venture, and we're looking for those who are dedicated to demonstrating their social impact while looking at developing financial sustainability of their venture. So I give two examples here. Wendy Reed Fairhurst is co-founder of Co-Housing NL, looking at finding solutions to create a modern housing community, co-housing community here in the province. And Nori Trask, who is co-founder of the Cloudberry Forest School, working on early childhood education, in particular in an outdoor setting, something that's actually quite timely now during times of COVID. So I'm happy to talk about the venture as we go along. I'm happy to take questions. And otherwise, here is how you can find out more about the Center for Social Enterprise and how you can get in contact if you have any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicole. I was part of Map the System as a judge early this year, and it was a great experience. Allison with Navigate.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Allison Rowe. I'm the manager with the Navigate program in Corner Brook. I'm just going to advance the slide here. So Navigate program is a partnership between Grenfell campus and the College of the North Atlantic Corner Brook campus. And we help entrepreneurs from the early startup stages, right from the early idea stage, on through to prototype and product development, and to right through to commercialization, implementation, and incubation. Sorry, having trouble advancing my slide here. There we go. Okay. So the reason that we help entrepreneurs all the way through is because we have three different service pillars under the Navigate program. So we have the Entrepreneurship Center, the Makerspace, and the Business Incubator. And our services are available to Grenfell students, CNA students, alumni of both campuses, as well as local entrepreneurs and members of the business community in Western Newfoundland. So the Entrepreneurship Center, there are actually two locations. There's one that is located on Grenfell campus, and there's another on the CNA campus. And the Entrepreneurship Center is really a space where generally students come to hang out, learn about entrepreneurship, meet with other entrepreneurs, but also they come for a variety of services. And as well as our, like I said, the local entrepreneurs or people considering starting a business or existing businesses. They come to us for business coaching. Some come to us with just the early idea stages, or they have an interest in entrepreneurship and they want to see, what they might be able to do with that. We offer a number of different activities and events to help people develop business skills, and those include, workshops and things like startup weekends and a number of different events, boot camps and such. We connect them to resources, and really we're a bit of a hub locally in terms of connecting everyone to the different organizations that are in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. And then we also connect people to mentors, and we help them network with the broader ecosystem and business community. Then the makerspace. So the Entrepreneurship Center has been around for a while, but the makerspace and business incubator are relatively new. They opened within the past 2 years. And the makerspace is located on Grenville campus. As you can see here, a number of people come in regularly to work on different activities together. It's not a very large space, but we're looking to move to a new space very soon where there'll be a much larger capacity to have more people working in the space. And right here you can see a few of the projects they worked on, like this is a little 3D printed printing press, etch. And we've got some here, there's some of our local companies who worked on different activities. So Bootleg Brewery, for example, they made some signs and swag and whatnot for their locations. So some of the services that the makerspace offers, so there's the communal workspace where people can come and work on different ideas and learn together, learn how to work on the different equipment that's in the space. And some of that equipment and technology includes laser cutters, 3D printers, there's a CNC machine, a digital loom, there's robotics, electronics, and more. And as we grow into the new space, which will be at our new innovation center, there'll be more equipment as well. People come together to get support from the makerspace manager for product design, prototype development and testing, as well as proof of concept. There are a number of workshops and programming to use the different equipment in the space, as well as special events like design collision events for makers. And normally the makerspace manager would be connecting people for networking and mentorship opportunities as well. And there are open community making nights as well as open hours for people to come in and use the space. I should mention that during COVID, unfortunately, the spaces have been temporarily closed, but we're still offering support virtually. And then finally, the third service pillar is the business incubator. And the business incubator is located on the CNA Cornerbrook campus. And as you can see here in the picture, we have access to a number of meeting spaces. So there's a large boardroom that people can use. There's a small meeting space that businesses and entrepreneurs can avail of. There's also a large co-working space. The image here only shows a part of that, but there's also a whole other section with all the equipment that people would need to come work in a co-working space. And we have small resident offices for resident companies. And there are 3 of those available. So some of the services that the incubator offers are defined term office spaces for resident companies. And those companies or the folks that sign up, we refer to them as our Voyager members. And Voyager members also get funding when they first come into the space, and they can put that towards getting expert advice, legal support, regulatory compliance, marketing training, etc. The free co-working space is available to any businesses or early stage entrepreneurs who want to come in and work in the space for free. And those members are called Trailblazer members. So you have the ability to apply for both memberships if you're interested. We have, as I mentioned before, access to different free meeting spaces. And there's coaching and mentorship. And we connect our various resident companies and our Trailblazer members to specific mentors. And we also have a number of events and activities and workshops throughout the year, things like business boot camps and, again, startup weekends and that sort of thing, and just access to a vibrant space where you can come and meet with other entrepreneurs. As I mentioned at the beginning, we're funded, we're a partnership between Grenfell campus and Cornerbrook CNA campus, and we are funded through the provincial government and COA. And if anyone is interested in finding out more, they can contact me at my email address here. I'll also put our social media links in chat for anyone who's interested. You can follow us. We have a number of online events and activities that we offer. Even though we're primarily focused on the West Coast, those are also available to people from across the province. And that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Allison. Next, we have Memorial Center for Entrepreneurship with Florian.
Awesome. Very excited to be here and hear about all those partners that we work with. The first thing is the Center for Entrepreneurship. It's a pan-university center. So we serve all students at Memorial, and our mission is to help Memorial University to become the leading entrepreneurial university in Canada. And how we do that is can you hear me like this? All right. Try to change those slides. All right, and how we do that is we focus on inspiring and enabling aspiring entrepreneurs. So really helping students to be excited about entrepreneurship and especially high growth entrepreneurship, and helping students to come up with their initial startup idea. So how we do that, we provide students at Memorial with really foundational training, encouragement, guidance, access to funding, and also connection to create high growth businesses. So for us, we're really at the kind of early stage of the pipeline of startup creation. And we do a number of things to do that. We have a workshop series, so now it's online, before it was in person, where students can network with other entrepreneurial students, learn practical skills, and just be connected to the larger community at Memorial, in St. John's, and even in Atlantic Canada. We also provide startup coaching, so we have a number of startup coaches, and any students can book a meeting from the Navigate app. And that's a way to chat with kind of someone who has experience in creating a startup and to help refine your idea. We also provide entrepreneurial externships, although it's a little on hold for now, but the idea of the entrepreneurial externships is to allow students to go inside a company and identify potential startup ideas. And so just a few days, and it's a great way to learn on how to identify a good idea and also finding one. We also do a lot of entrepreneurial work terms and internships. So it's a semester-long work term on internship where you can work on your idea full-time. You get a bursary of $4,500, and you can even get academic credit. So, and you're part of a cohort of students, and you get individual mentorship. So it's a very intensive program, but that's a way to really focus on the development of your idea. So basically, you are paid to work on your idea, which is a pretty good deal. We also provide funding from $500 to test an idea, to $1,000 to kind of launch your startup, and we also have the Melwood Watt Cup where you can win $25,000. So impact so far. So what has been very interesting over the last few years, kind of the growth for entrepreneurship in the community, and many units where help to make this happen. On our end, we grew from 20 students to over 300 students served per year. We have about over 85 startup ideas that are presented to us to discuss. And the 5 companies you see below have created over 150 new jobs, and they also raised over $30 million. So there's really an exciting momentum, and actually, and I think it's a good reflection also of how our ecosystem is performing. Is that over the last 2 years, the intention of students for entrepreneurship grew by 30% or almost 30%. So I think as a group we are doing an amazing job to excite students for entrepreneurship. And also the center was recognized as one of the top emerging entrepreneurship centers in the world last year and this year, and we're very excited to hear this news. That's it for me, and I think the next presentation is on Genesis, and it's very interesting because there is a natural flow of students who go from MCE and do an entrepreneurial work term to Genesis to do the evolution program.
Thank you, Florian, and congratulations on your award, second year in a row. It's fantastic. Andrew, the floor is yours.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. Gang, a very exciting time to be in the ecosystem, technology, but just entrepreneurship in general. Many, many great things happening within Memorial in the context of research, from student level, lab-based, student entrepreneurship, MCE, and then into evolution. Evolution is, okay, first of all, me, Andrew Goldsby. I'm the Director of Client Success. I've actually been around for a long time. I've actually gone through the Genesis Center program itself as a founder, a tech founder. So I've seen both sides of the equation. So I get to go back and actually tweak some things, which is great. Evolution is about taking that idea from the lab, your concept, your research, and actually fleshing it out. An 8-week process of really working through that idea. We try to focus on tech-based entrepreneurs that are pre-revenue, who are really trying to do that product market fit, get a feel for what the market looks like. There's nothing worse than basically doing years and years of research to realize, oh, the market doesn't really want what I have. That's actually what evolution is about. So from that idea to the validation, we take those 8 weeks and we really get deep into the process where, we will force you to have those conversations, those discovery conversations with customers and users. Some of the past evolution graduates, the Mises, Heyorkis, Polyamina, Succeed, Breathe Suite, a lot of, crossover, but similarities, because the ecosystem has to be healthy at all ends, from the MCE, from the lab to market, right down to evolution. It's so important that we understand the processes to get through there. Just this summer, Patrick and his team with Evolution, they actually had to adapt themselves. We actually had a very successful summer virtual delivery of the Evolution program, which was great. We just easily transitioned everything into an e-learning, which is exciting because we're also doing the same thing now this fall. We have another session coming up in January. I'll share that link with everyone after. But once a week, we're talking about an interactive workshop where you actually work with your Evolution program leads along with our mentors and our advisors. So part of this is actually our team, the Evolution team, bringing you through that journey and being there with you, guiding you through. Now, this actually does come to a point where, it's so important to pitch. And there's actually our pitch and pick, which really forces you to articulate that idea. Because if you can't present your concept in a clear, concise manner to really win over your audience, that's actually the biggest battle. So we force people to get ready for that. This is so important because, this is just the beginning of your journey in pitching within the Evolution program. Now, the enterprise program. So you think about this. People will come from maybe the MCE, student-based entrepreneurs, lab to market. Evolution makes sense for product market fit, figuring out your idea, your minimum viable product, doing those discoveries. Enterprise, our positioning of Genesis and the enterprise program, it's about we build amazing companies. Enterprise is our flagship program. It's a 3-year incubation process that there's a selection process. You have to be a high-tech, high-growth oriented company. That's who we basically accept in. So we're talking a 3-year incubation process. So what does that look like, and what does the current portfolio look like? Well, we actually are started to kind of break things down into cohort years, year 1, year 2, year 3. We're really, the objective now is our year 1 companies is that one of our goals is that we want them in revenue by the first 6 months. So that means by the time you come through evolution, you should be, accelerating your idea, your concept to get to a point where you're really close to monetizing something. We have some of our year 1 companies now that are actually doing an incredible amount of business on a monthly basis. The majority of my year 2 companies, they're all in revenue now, and they're actually dealing with scaling issues. Our year 3 companies, our target for our year 3 companies moving forward is that we want at least 80% of our year 3 portfolio, these high-tech, high-growth companies, to be doing $1 million a year annual recurring revenue. Here at Genesis, one of our goals is that setting you up and surrounding you with the supports to help you get there, the value proposition. We have space, we have services, we have a micro fund. So as soon as you enter the enterprise program, you immediately have access to early seed capital, which is so critical to get you going. We help you with the ecosystem, understanding how to leverage, other funding sources, how to deal with investors, how to get ready for that first round or even family and friends rounds, and then how to deal with different series of investment rounds. So like I mentioned about the expectations, there are expectations when you get into the enterprise program. And it's one of those things, if you get there, our goal is really to help you build an amazing company. And that's what it comes down to. So we have space, mentorship programs. We have programs like a consulting fund, travel fund. We have our micro fund. So if we were saying next steps in your journey, those folks who have that idea percolating around in your head, coming up for the winter, we actually have our winter cohort for evolution. And that's actually the program where you can actually flesh out your concepts. You can work on your product market fit, your MVP. And, that's an 8-week process where it's kind of a self-paced. To find out more details on that one, just genesiscenter.ca. You can go /evolution to get there. And that's probably our first step. Now, it's going to be really interesting because if I was a betting man, the excitement in the ecosystem now for technology, tech-oriented ventures is that January cohort for evolution is filling up really, really fast. Coming up next week, we're actually going to be doing an information session, December the 3rd. If anyone's interested in that, you'll certainly see us sharing that out either on Twitter or Facebook or whatnot. So, the key there is if anyone else has any questions, I'm available myself or any of our Genesis Center staff. We want to be approachable. It doesn't matter, even if you're at that ideation stage or you have that concept, you may have done some incredible research and you're trying to figure out how would I commercialize this. The natural journey is, you have your technical transfer office, you have the MCE, the lab to market program, and then we have evolution, and then ultimately we have enterprise. Our objective here at the Genesis Center is our mandate is to build amazing companies. So that's what we're focused on.
Andrew, thank you, and thank you for explaining even like the movement of entrepreneurship within the institution and how we are aligned as well. Thank you for all your presentations. This was very, very informative, and it truly shows how Memorial has these different offerings that are supporting the different members of the university and beyond. I really don't think there's ever been more support at Memorial for aspiring entrepreneurs every step of the way. I'd like to open the floor for questions, and I think we have one question in Q&A to all panelists. Last week, Verafin's exit for $2.8 billion. What potential impact would you like to see from Verafin's success? What can we do to foster more ventures like Verafin? And maybe Andrew could start answering that question, consider that Verafin came from, so Verafin is an interesting journey because it was students from the engineering department, then they got housed at Genesis where they grew to where they are now, and Verafin and their founders, their co-founders, still support the university entrepreneurial system and innovation system in such different ways which is fantastic. So, Andrew, do you like to take the lead on that?
Absolutely. The Verifin example is an example of why we need to nurture at the students or even the lab, why we need to create an environment that these ideas can percolate to the top, and we actually surround them, we coach them, and we also push them. We basically drive them to want and to desire that next level. Verifin came through the Genesis Center program the same time when I was there. So I actually got to see the guys when we're talking, 5 people crammed into a small room, just basically doing amazing things. The repercussions for the next probably 10 plus years are going to be amazing, because for an ecosystem to be healthy and to grow, we need to have acquisitions like this. This was probably the piece that was missing. What this will do for startups, what this will do for motivating individuals to say, wow, we can do this too. Or, if we have half the success Verifin had, we're still going to be super successful. This will be amazing. This is what the province needed right now. Tomorrow we actually have a town hall meeting with all of our enterprise tenants, our companies, 30 plus companies, just to talk about what this means for the ecosystem and what it means to basically keep the motivation, keep the drive going. So once again, at the student level, at the lab level, an organization like Memorial, how we're facilitating and how we're housing and nurturing these ideas, and how the system exists now to bring them through different stages, like stage gating the idea through the different process. We all still have room to tweak it, and we're getting better as we go. And the thing is, people just need to know that if they have that idea, there's a conduit to step forward to say, listen, I'm interested in doing this further.
Thank you, Andrew. I agree. Anyone else would like to add to Andrew? And do we have any other questions?
Paula, maybe I'll just pop in with a comment about the first question. So what potential impact would you like to see from Verifin's success? Well, I would love to see a distributed trickle-down effect. We anticipate that there will be a lot of focus on the high-tech, high-growth sector. It would be wonderful to see that that success is shared across the social sector as well.
Absolutely. If you have any questions, please feel free to pop them on Q&A or on the chat. We'll be looking at that. In the meantime, I do have a question, because we do have some time, if you don't mind. And some of you touched upon as well during your presentations, but I'd like for our attendees, there's so many of these offerings. When in their entrepreneurial journey should a person come to you and avail of your services? Where is the sweet spot for someone to knock on your door? And maybe I'll start with Kara on this question, if that's okay.
Yeah, so with the Tech Transfer Office, we are at a very, very early stage. So essentially, you have an idea, you're considering, going to Genesis or going to MCE to go through one of their programs, but you want to make sure that you understand, do you own this? Are you free to run with this? Especially if it's something that's related to your research that you did within the university. So we're there to help you at that first phase, so that then we can help you roadmap the path and connect you to those other resources.
Thank you, Kara. Florian had some technical difficulties. He just sent me a message that he will be back soon. Anyone wants to go next? Nicole or Allison?
I can add, similar to what Kara was saying, we're very much about early stages. Again, I mentioned discovering social enterprise, what it is, what it looks like, and also for students to have the opportunity to discover and get to know the problems, the social challenges that they wish to address. So very much early steps and leading into ideation, eventually into incubation.
Allison?
I would say ideally early stage as well, but that said, with our 3 different service pillars, really any point in the journey is possible. And we do get a lot of local businesses who are already established who come to us as well for support and advice. And so it's, ideally the sooner you have an idea and you get into us, the better, but we're there with end-to-end services as well.
And Andrew?
Yeah, and to add to that now with the virtual evolution offering, it doesn't matter. I think this current cohort, we actually have people all throughout Newfoundland, Labrador. We have people throughout Canada. We're even as far as Nigeria, Afghanistan with participants in evolution. So, and that just feeds into some of our mandate for our startup visa program, our desire to have more immigrant founders, female founders, and also just, a comfortable, nurturing environment. So evolution is about when you're serious and ready to invest some more time, effort, and energy. That's absolutely the program for you. And then enterprises, when you're fully committed to basically going for win. We went back over since 1997 to look at the commonalities of success. And it's one of those things, your commitment of time, your early access to funding, your ability to leverage that strategic leadership position, or, at the end of the day, marketing of your venture, all these things, along with the timing of your venture. So it's, your first step is really just being comfortable, even if you're a student at Memorial, of saying to your faculty lead, I have an idea. Who should I speak to? So, even internally, ourselves making sure that if a faculty member gets that inquiry, that we've actually done our job to make sure we can navigate that through the process. And, that's the thing. And we want students, we want individuals in the community to be comfortable to say, this thing called entrepreneurship or technology, I'm very interested now. How do I find out more? And I think it's, I think we all have open doors where we all want to basically nurture the ecosystem.
Thank you, Andrew. And Florian, the question was, where is the sweet spot for someone to come to you and avail of MCE services in this case? And I know that you have some technical difficulties, so if you also have some comments about the questions regarding Verafin's exit, please do so. And I know we have a question on the chat, so we'll answer that one afterwards.
Awesome. Yes, so for us, we work with 2 types of students. So students who are just interested in entrepreneurship, you don't have to have an idea. Then you can come to our workshops, and kind of that's a good way to start your journey. And then if you have an idea, even if it's not fully formed, you just book a meeting. And what's very good is that it's always good to have someone to talk with about your idea. And even if you're not sure of it, just it's a good starting point. So those will be the two stages, like just interested in entrepreneurship and have an initial vague idea of a startup. The other question about Verafin, for me, like it's a very inspiring moment for our community here. And also for the community in Atlantic Canada. I think there will be a before and after November 19, because now we demonstrated that it's possible to create a multi-billion startup from a town of over 300,000 people. This is pretty incredible. Usually it's in big towns. So I think it's going to set the path for others to do the same. So a lot of inspiration for people to start businesses, and I hope also for students. Usually what happens when there's an exit like this, there's more investments that come, because first it draws attention from external investors about what's going on in this ecosystem, but also you have more people who have more money because they sold their business, and they are likely to reinvest it or start their own, which is the third point, that we are likely to see more startups from alumni or from people at Verafin as well. And finally, I think for me, what's another implication is, like, Verafin was started by having some people from the industry came at university and shared a private like a problem in the industry, and this encounter with entrepreneurial students and problems in the private sector is something very exciting, and we want to pursue that more within MCE through programming to make this relationship even more powerful and having more of everything in a couple of years.
Absolutely. We have one question from Meg. If there are resources that help one in finding technical resources, such as hiring developers and CTO, and that they are at Genesis Fall Evolution Cohort. And Andrew asked that that's a great question to post your evolution leads, Emily and Patrick. Anyone else has, if anyone else besides that has any other thoughts to Meg, let us.
If I can add in there, Meg, our diversity lead, Leslie Galge, she actually has a Slack channel with 200 plus female founders and tech-oriented people. So it's one of those things. Reach out to either Patrick and Emily within Evolution, and we'll connect you. It's a matter too. I love the fact going through Evolution, you've identified strategic needs within your business. That's the fact that you realize that is awesome. Good on you, because that's actually part of the journey. So, you know, it's in knowing that, hey, listen, if I want to get there, here's what I need. I need a CTO, or I just need someone to complement your skill set. Because a lot of times, once someone realizes that, yeah, I can't do it all. You know, you may be really good at basically doing the business development and nurturing the deals, but at the end of the day, someone has to be your technical lead. So, Meg, in your case, basically, you know, get that insight from Emily and Patrick. I'll remind them about that. Don't you worry. I got your back.
Thank you, Andrew. We are almost at the end. If someone has any questions, please let us know. And I have one question before we end, if we have time. Yeah, go ahead, Florian.
Yeah, I just want to make another comment on this. Like, if you want to meet people, you need to go out there. And that's why if you come to events like workshops and know, you will be surprised how you can network through online events. Actually, during our events, we call that network shops now, because you can spend a lot of time chatting one-on-one with people. So you need to go out there and meet people. That will be one of my advice. And join those communities that allow you to do that.
That's such an important point too, Florian. It's interesting how through like informal networking, even virtually, I think one of the things about being virtual is that you have access to people that sometimes you wouldn't have in-person events as well, that come to our events, and making those bridges can really help a business starting up. Just before we finish, if there's no more questions, very quickly, it seems like, you know, we have all these offerings, and I would like to know some examples of how, and some of you have alluded, how you collaborate. How does MCE collaborate with Genesis, with the TTCO, Navigate, CSC? How do we, as this great ecosystem that is supporting companies, and it was funny when both some of your presentations, you're talking about the same company. So there's these different touch points that the companies do through their journey. So very briefly, since we have a few minutes to go, talk to me a little bit about the collaborations that happen.
If I could speak to that first, even Kara and her team at Technical Transfer, that even, you know, early stage, but even the later stage enterprise companies at Genesis, they still basically draw upon the service of technical transfer, which is awesome to see. So the fact that relationship is throughout the whole journey. Our relationship with MCE, it's so important to us because that's actually how we get access to these brilliant student entrepreneurs, and then just how we nurture them through. And now, like, you know, with Allison and her team on the West Coast and our virtual offerings of Evolution, we want to see things happening there. And I know Nicole is, Colin from our team is very active with Nicole and her group. So, you know, the thing is, those synergies, they're existing. They'll get even better as we go.
Anyone has 15 minutes to add to this before we wrap up the event?
Just to speak to what Andrew just said, before COVID hit, we had started piloting, having a few of our incubator clients go through the evolution program virtually. So it just became a natural thing now that, beyond or through COVID and beyond, that we'll continue with funneling our students through those programs.
Thank you. And I'm going to stop now because I'm very cognizant that there's a lot of events during Research Week that people have to go to it. If anyone has any questions for any of our panelists, please send us our way. And if you have any other questions, we'll be sure to have those questions answered offline. Thank you very much to all of you. This was so informative. I really hope you enjoyed the remaining of Research Week. Thank you.